can find examples of spectacular architecture in places built for discovery. From the Guggenheim to the Louvre, there is something about the quest for inspiration and education that allows for architects to get a little more creative with their pencils. New York's Gilder Center for Science, Education and Innovation is certainly no exception. You're listening to Tall Stories, a Monocle production brought to you by the team behind The Urbanist. I'm Andrew Tuck. In this episode, Paul Logothetis takes us to an intriguing new building that is just as awe-inspiring as the exhibits housed within.
The American Museum of Natural History normally evokes wonder and curiosity from its timeless exhibits, and a new addition to New York City's eternal center of wonder is taking center stage and putting the spotlight on the museum itself. The Richard Gilder Center for Science, Education and Innovation is the first new physical addition to this 155-year-old Central Park building since 1951, a total of 73 years since the construction of the museum's planetarium was completed. Opened in May 2023, the Gilder Center has expanded the museum westward to Teddy Roosevelt Park, which has seen its own improvements thanks to a Reed Hildebrand design that has provided more seating and better link paths to a green space that seemed almost entirely reserved to Upper West Side residents, and has now been opened up to all as a result. The park is also the ideal getaway for experiencing the Gilder Center for the first time. The center's unique entrance from the park provides a unique juxtaposition to the museum's classic design, with the modern addition taking visitors on a voyage to the American Southwest and its Jurassic origins before they even step inside the front doors. The undulating facade is clad in Milford pink granite, flowing gently into a vast atrium entrance that is enormously contrasting to the museum's main building and its grand hall entrance feel. The New Yorker magazine likened its inspiration to Jurassic Park and Dr. Seuss, mixed with the Flintstones. From afar, I couldn't help but think of renowned Spanish architect Santiago Calatrava's whitewash works in Valencia. But as you approach the entrance, traces of Barcelona's master architect, Antoni Gaudí, come to mind thanks to the earthy, organic contours and the sculpturally rounded windows that one could speculate are inner-city cliff faces even. This new entrance is connecting the museum from east to west, meaning patrons no longer have to double back to find the exit and can wander aimlessly through the museum without stress. The design by the architectural firm Studio Gang, known for the Aqua Tower in their home city of Chicago and the nearby Solar Cave office building, is especially attention-getting alongside the classic red brick New York is famed for, and it is highly advisable you enter the museum here rather than exiting it for the full effect. Stepping inside, you find yourself in the vast Kenneth C. Griffin Exploration Atrium and its 5 stories of open space. The large-scale skylights which illuminate the setting actually give you a sensation of emerging from a sand-colored cave and stepping into the light. The rock and fossil texture curves purposely to emulate how wind, water, and the passage of time carve out landscapes and canyons like the ones found in the southwestern United States. It's impossible not to want to touch the surfaces around you, to run your fingers along the gritty, sandy walls, whose 3D-like feel comes from a process known as shotcrete, where concrete is sprayed directly onto rebar without traditional formwork. The curving contours snake you toward the Griffin Atrium's grand staircase, a gathering place for rest, conversation, and contemplation. Not only does sitting here provide an overview of what there is to be discovered, but it puts you in a position to view beyond the flowing walls and out the doors, past the park, thanks to the near floor-to-ceiling windows, which offer an unobstructed view westward down 77th Street. It's an ideal seat to find at dusk to take in Manhattan Edge, a twice-yearly phenomenon when the setting sun aligns precisely with the Manhattan street grid as it sets beyond the Hudson River. The Gilder Center bills itself as an interactive learning space, with world-class research facilities and scientific collections, next-generation classrooms, and innovative exhibitions. The extra space afforded from adding 230,000 square feet has allowed the museum to display 3,000-plus objects from every area of the museum's collections: vertebrate and invertebrate zoology, paleontology, geology, anthropology, and archaeology, with materials ranging from dinosaur tracks to astronomical instruments, and from antlers to pottery. The footprint of a duck-billed dinosaur called a hadrosaur and the bottled poison dart frog certainly drew my attention, as did the enormous skeleton of a giant grouper, one of the ocean's largest coral reef species. But it just might be the ground floor interactive exhibits that will draw the biggest crowds, thanks to a 5,000 square foot insectarium where you can meet the insects. This includes following the path of live ants as they gather supplies and navigate the litany of see-through tubes and structures that move overhead to guide them towards their nest. This joy of wonder in watching nature work at a miniature level is quickly reset as you come across the stunning 8,000-pound honeycomb light fixture, emulating a resin model of a beehive. There's also a butterfly vivarium to explore upstairs. If you are looking for peace and quiet, the second-floor research library provides a warm setting to nestle into, with mid-century modern accents complemented by the unique concrete centerpiece that stretches across the ceiling, like a tree's branches providing shelter. The Gilder Center exemplifies just how far the institution has come since 1874, when U.S. President Ulysses S. Grant laid the cornerstone of the museum's first building at 77th Street. Undulating curves are everywhere in stark contrast to the museum's original design, with stairs just about providing the only right angles that Grant and his forebears may have craved. But I have to say it is the shrills and shrieks of children enjoying the wonders of discovery emanating from all corners of this interactive man-made delight that really bring it home.
Tall Stories is a Monocle production from the team behind The Urbanist. This episode was written by Paul Logothetis and produced and edited by David Stevens. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast to receive new episodes every week. I'm Andrew Tuck. Goodbye, and thank you for listening, City Lovers.